everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is deyaniracavazos and I'm an LPC from the state of Texas. Happy holidays. Thank you so much for clicking on this video and hanging out with me today. If you're new to this channel, on here I tend to share a lot about my work as a virtual private practice owner and as a therapist. And I also really like sharing tips with other therapists and therapists in training. So for today's video, we are actually starting on a Friday, which is different. I don't know if I've ever actually started a video on a Friday because I thought it would be really fun to film a video more so ending the week, a little bit of the weekend, and then Monday. Right now, because it is holiday season, things are pretty chill for me work-wise, so it leaves plenty of time for me to catch up on notes, and I definitely needed to catch up on notes because this morning I had 16 notes that I needed to really get to and bust out. With the holidays, a lot of things tend to come up. Every therapist is a little bit different and does things differently. Some of us might have an even larger amount of notes to get through because things just get busy and hectic around this time of year. Some of us might have less, so it just depends, but I had a really good chunk. And going on 3+ years of being a counselor already, like I know myself well enough of how long it pretty much takes me to complete a note. Definitely different having my own private practice because I set the schedule for myself when it comes to notes, and we're going to talk about that at some point in the video because one of you commented in my last video and some of you have really been asking for this for a while, for me to share some ways to get through notes quicker. And sometimes I talk myself out of sharing things like this because I'm like, who am I to really talk about this? Because we all as counselors struggle with this, you know, at some point, and I get a little bit of imposter syndrome talking about this topic in particular, or even treatment plans, because I feel like those kinds of things are very unique to each therapist and everyone does them slightly differently. Every place of work does them slightly differently, and like to this day I use a SOAP note because I really edited and created my own note for myself with like check boxes and things, which I'll be sharing with you all. But part of me really struggles to want to share anything related to treatment plans and SOAP notes, so I'm going to reference other things and also just share what I do. It's important that you talk to your professors, to your own supervisors about how you're going to do your notes and your treatment plans. But you asked, and so I am more than happy to share, and I'm going to fight through my imposter syndrome and share that with you all. So much good has come out of that, so whenever I'm feeling this way, I remind myself of that and I read through the really sweet and amazing comments that you all have left over the years, and that sets me in the right headspace to remember that I am just sharing an example. It does not have to be the end all be all. I don't have to put that kind of pressure on myself. So I'm trying to share a little bit of my thinking process before we even get into this video. But what is also going on right now, because it is holiday season, things are pretty chill for me work-wise because the population that I service, like, we're all on holiday, you know what I mean? A lot of my clients celebrate Nochebuena, Christmas, Navidad, Año Nuevo, and usually because it's a lot of the Latinx culture, specifically Mexican culture, we tend to really celebrate New Year's Eve or Nochebuena, which is Christmas Eve. Ever since I've been a counselor, I've always taken those days off. It's pretty much all of my clients are with their family, with their friends, or even just solo. Like, it is their time to enjoy the holidays. It's very big in our culture, and definitely with the client population that I service, it's very big. So I never work holidays, and so because of that, a lot of my clients are actually like traveling with family or doing things like that, taking time to rest, or some of them are working. But because of that, things tend to be pretty chill toward the end of the year. And once New Year comes, and that's when I start to get new clients, right around New Year. That is a very big time in the therapy world and counseling world because a lot of our potential clients are setting New Year's resolutions, you know, or the intentions for the year. They're working on their vision board and they're really working toward improving their mental health and just health in general. And so it's a very exciting time. There's a lot of like motivation and buzz in the air during that time. I did get 2 new clients, and so I onboarded them the previous week and we've started working together. I've had some clients return that I used to work with, so that's been really nice. It's always really special when it's been like a year or more than a year and you get to see clients again that you hadn't seen in a while. What's also going on with my current therapy clients is really taking time to slow down and remind them of their progress. So pointing out the progress that they've made and reflecting on their goals. It was a part of their treatment plan, you know, kind of going back to their intake and reminding some of them, hey, remember you said this, or hey, remember these were some of the goals that you had. How do you feel about that? that, let's list some of the progress that you've made. So really taking time to celebrate my clients, that's really big right now, and letting them know how important it is to rest from doing and just be present and truly celebrate themselves, because that's very hard to do in our community and in a lot of POC communities. It's just really hard to take time to slow down and celebrate ourselves and acknowledge, you know, the hard work that we're doing. There's a lot tied to that, you know, why it's very hard to be able to do that. And so I love seeing my clients' faces just light up when they thought they really didn't accomplish much. I'm like, let's make a list. And by the end of the list, they're usually pleasantly surprised, you know, to see all the things that they didn't maybe even consider as progress, being able to list that out. So I made my to-do list for the day, and I've been going through it. Notes, like I said, are a big one, so I'm gonna go ahead and do that. A new season of Virgin River came out. I love that show very much. It's like a really chill, relaxing show. I mean, sometimes it's kind of soap opera-y, but I'm here for that. Like, I'm here for the crazy moments. And it's just a good show also for like holiday season. I just find it really relaxing. I also like Sweet Magnolias on Netflix, but that's the one that's on right now, so I'm gonna watch that in the background while I get some notes done before I see my last therapy client of the day. And then we're gonna get the weekend started, which is really exciting. We're down one holiday. We got through Noche Buena, and now we're on to Año Nuevo, New Year's. Definitely a lot of talk in the therapy world of setting boundaries right now. Safety plans, exit plans. This time of year can actually be really, really difficult for all of us, but especially for our clients and those that we're working with. Suicide rates tend to go up, crises tend to go up. Holidays bring up a lot, and so I definitely took some time to talk about that on social media and talk about how to break generational cycles, what kind of generational cycles to maybe break in our culture when it comes to the holidays. I really wanted to talk about that this year, and with the book club and the book pick that I ended up doing, I feel like that's really the theme of the start of my year, just breaking generational cycles in my culture and with those in my community, and really defining that and talking a lot more about it. Full transparency moment, my hand is totally falling asleep right now, but full transparency moment, I am extremely hella stressed about TikTok getting banned in January, and we still don't know exactly what's gonna happen, if it's gonna be bought out because of what's happening, which is just sucks. Like, the whole thing just sucks. Over 95% of my clients have come from TikTok. That form of marketing isn't going to exist anymore. Is really stressful. So the past few weeks have really been me brainstorming what I'm going to do about that, the other marketing avenues I have, because I just tend to do a lot better with marketing when it comes to social media. And so I've just been busy and intentional in planning what I want to do about that. And yeah, I just want to share all of that with you all, because these are real stressors of owning a business. There's definitely a lot of businesses that are going to be impacted by what's going on. So yeah, it's really hard. You're trying to enjoy your holiday, you know, but also recognize and acknowledge that there's really stressful current events and things going on in the United States. But I really am trying to just be present now that I've had more days to process a lot of things. Really weird, scary time, if we're being honest about that. Another goal that I have for today's video is just to hopefully just remind you all to also rest. That is a big one in all of my videos, anywhere on social media that I am, just trying to motivate others and inspire others to rest, especially if you are from a culture where rest just seems like a privilege and not something that is easily accessible. Just trying to give that reminder and also just model, you know, for others what rest can look like, because I'm really thankful for the people that at one point in my life modeled that for me too, because I was really bad at resting and at having recreational activities that I enjoyed and disconnecting from work. So it's definitely something that really matters to me and has mattered to me for a couple of years now to share with others, because it can be really life-changing, you know, when we prioritize self-care in the ways that we truly need. So this weekend is going to be about that. Definitely recharging, being out in nature. I've talked to y'all about that. I really enjoy that. So thank you all for being here. And if you're new, I hope that you subscribe and stay. So I'm going to go ahead and get back to my notes now, because I've stalled enough. my last session of the evening. Yay, we made it to the weekend. The last thing I'm going to do is just answer a text from one of my clients because I was just checking in on how my client was doing, and so they responded, so I'm going to go ahead and just check in, and then I'm going to set my automatic reply notification on my Spruce app, so that way if my clients contact me throughout the weekend, they get that automatic reply letting them know that I will go ahead and contact them by Monday, because even though I don't see clients on Monday, I do respond to my clients by Monday as well, and then I see my clients Tuesday through Friday, 10 a.m. to 7 p.m. But I'm signing off of the vlog for right now, and I'll probably just bring you along for little bits of my evening routine and bring you along for Saturday, and then we'll end the vlog Monday. It is currently 10 p.m. I'm gonna go ahead and just play some music, take off my makeup, and just wash my face for the night before I go to bed, and just watch some YouTube and unwind for the night. Once upon a time,
todo iluminado por el sol, una ventana de ilusión, niños jugando y las flores brotando, y en ese instante parece todo volver al antes, todo iluminado por el sol. Una ventana de ilusión, miedo y llanto, una niña buscando entre gritos y espanto, una madre esperando.
We made it to the weekend, so right now me and my husband are in Brownsville. I woke up around 6:30 and I'm driving right now because my husband wanted to do a bike ride, and I thought I would go ahead and go thrifting and just like get out for a little bit. I was kind of thinking about what I felt like doing today, like self-care wise, and today's not a workout day for me. It's more of like a restful chill day because tomorrow's my workout day on Sunday. And so I kind of was checking in with myself, thinking of what I felt like doing, and the thing that popped into my mind was like, you know what, it'd be really fun to go thrifting like around here, look for some picture frames. I'm feeling kind of crafty today, like doing some kind of a little mini DIY. Get out, walk around for a little bit while I wait, because my husband should probably be on his bike ride for about 2 to 2.5 hours. I also brought a snack with me just in case I get hungry. So if you've never had these from H-E-B, they're so good. The hot and spicy chicharrones, and they have a good amount of protein for anyone who's interested, or for any other PCOS girlies who are trying to meet their protein intake. So I'm gonna go ahead and have that. It's just nice to get out for a little bit, go for a drive. I was blasting my 2000s playlist while we were driving, and that felt really relaxing. I was just singing at the top of my lungs. And sometimes it's the simple things, you know, when it comes to self-care like that, like going for a little drive, even if it's 10 minutes or if it's hours, and blasting music and singing at the top of your lungs. That felt really good this morning. So it is currently 6:30 p.m. It has been a long while. Me and my husband ended up taking an epic nap, and then we went to go pick up a grocery order, so we did curbside, and I'm putting away groceries right now. And since we've been working a lot on our backyard and gradually renovating it this year, it's something that we had been saving up for a good while, and finally this year was the year that we tackled that. So we bought a new patio set out there, and so we're gonna go basically test it out. We're gonna make some s'mores. My husband is super psyched for that. My hair is really crazy right now because, like I said, I woke up from a nap and I'm just in an oversized t-shirt because the weekends are for comfort, like pure comfort and just resting and relaxing. So right now I'm gonna pick something to just watch in the background while I put my groceries away. But just thought I would update you all because I fell off of the face of the earth for a little while, and I feel like that is true to my weekends. Like, I really take time to nap if I need to do enjoyable and fun activities. I had been on like a 10-day medication for my PCOS, so all of that was making very highly emotional, and I needed to rest and recover, and tonight is my final night on it, thankfully. I'm really happy about that. So yeah, that is currently what is going on. Please let me know, what do you all enjoy doing on the weekends? I feel like every weekend is slightly different, you know, it never looks the same, but for the most part it is full self-care time regardless of the weekend, or it's the time that I use to spend with the people that I love and that I care about, and also solo time. Okay, so I'm thinking I'm gonna continue watching Virgin River while I put my groceries away.
Mr. Sheridan, would you please tell the jury how you first met the defendant?
Yes, please rephrase or move on.
Apologies. Yeah.
This is what I ended up ordering for the s'mores. These are gluten-free. And these. And I got these skewers from Target, which is what we're gonna use for now. And the chocolate bar.
When things run dry, I'm empty. I can't see, I'm blinded by this concrete. And I should call you, see what you've been up to. I've been wondering, how far did you go in 7 months? I bet you're happy and don't think that much about me. Here I am, not knowing how to move on without you. Without you. New face, same old good anxiety. Where's your irony? Just smile, why? 'Cause I got everything I need, but not what I wanted. 'Cause I just wanted you. And if I could, I'd leave the city too. I don't blame you. And I should call you, see what you've been up to. I've been wondering, how far did you go in 7 months? I bet you're happy and don't think that much about me. Here I am, not knowing how to move on without you. Oh, without you.
everyone, happy new year. Today is officially January, and as I said earlier in the video, we're going to go ahead and talk about how I get my progress notes done quicker and as fast as possible for myself. How do I keep them short and sweet? Thank you to the counselor in training who left that comment in my previous video. I want to talk about it because the way I write notes now is not the way I write notes when I first started. And the more I practiced and the more I talked with my supervisor and I talked with other clinicians that I respect a lot, I realized that I was just doing too much, like way more that I needed to be doing. And I was just making my life harder. And if you've been around my channel for a while, you know that that's not what I'm about. I've really tried to always talk to myself and talk to you all about working smarter and not harder, because working harder doesn't necessarily get you to where you want to be or need to be. Sometimes hard work can, but overworking ourselves doesn't always necessarily lead to success or to where we want to be. And if you don't need to be writing an essay of a note, then that gives you and frees up time for you to do other things for your business or for your work. And our time is so precious as clinicians. And so what I would say to a therapist that's first starting off and they are writing longer notes than they probably should, I would say it makes total sense. I did it too when we're first starting off. We're trying not to miss something that could be important and we're really afraid, you know, to miss something or mess something up. And so I think it can really be helpful for us to have a clear picture of what exactly needs to be on our note for it to be okay. And every practice and every agency might have different requirements. And so what I'm going to give you is just general, all around check mark, like this is good. Now, if you have a certain employer or a certain supervisor who expects something added or something different onto your note, it's okay to ask them specifically, can you let me know how you would like me to word this? Can you let me know exactly what content you would like me to add? And if you're submitting your note and they're rejecting it for some reason and they don't want to give you a clear image of what's expected and they're just saying things like, well, you should already know. No. Because the reality is that the Texas State Board is very clear and also very gray on exactly what is required of us. And so if you look at what is required when it comes to note taking, this is what it says on site currently. And I say currently because it is always important that we each stay up to date with the Texas State Board, because things are updated every so often. And so as you see, that leaves a lot of room for gray, right? It leaves a lot of room for that. So I'm going to give you an example of a basic note that I would say check mark. Is it the most narrative style? Is it the craziest note that you could have? No, but it's a check mark note. You don't need to write more than that, but it keeps it clear, simple, precise. And you might be saying, but there's so much that is said to me within the session and this note doesn't reflect that. And yes, that is accurate. This note is not going to be reflective of your whole session, the details of that session, because legally that is also not smart to do, right? If your notes are ever subpoenaed, you do not want to have all of the details, you know, of your clients and what they've shared on that note, because ultimately it is our job to protect their confidentiality and to protect the information that is shared with us, which is why you'll see so many counselors keep their notes very bland. It sounds very robotic. Something that I do and that I've learned from other therapists when I interned with them and that I continue to do is I usually have my separate handwritten notes. So in session, when I'm with my client, I have my notepad with me and I'm writing down the extra details, right, that I want to remember, because I know that those are not going to be included in the typed out notes that I have on my simple practice. And that is the HIPAA compliant software that I have my notes in, that I do my billing, everything is on there. So these notes that I have handwritten, they get shredded. You know, once that notepad is done, it's all shredded. The detailed notes that I have on there are really just for me to have in between those sessions, you know, when I'm seeing my clients, like in between. So like, let's say for example, I saw them for 3 sessions within that one notepad, right? It spanned 3 sessions for them. I like having that because I can go back and really remember, like, this is when we set our appointment. I have it handwritten in case something goes wrong, because sometimes it does. Even if I do write it down, when I try to input it into the system and schedule a client's appointment, it does help if I also have it handwritten on my notes, because I can look back and be like, okay, well, here it says that we scheduled for this time, but I'm not seeing it on my calendar. Let me add it. We are busy as therapists, and those things happen. If you're the one doing the scheduling yourself, or even if someone else is doing it, it really helps if you have your notes handwritten for you to look back on. And then of course, just like the Texas State Board says, any documentation that you have that is confidential, it is our responsibility to dispose safely of that information. And so shred it, tear it up into a million pieces, but make sure that it's not readable or visible, or someone can just like tape back the 2 pieces of paper that you just ripped up. And so for anyone wondering, well, like, what's the point of writing that down then if you're going to shred it? It's really important, because in those couple sessions that you have clients, they're giving you so much information that once you have it written down, it's something you can at least memorize and really look back on. And it really gives your mind enough time, you know, to memorize some of these things that are going on, because I'll be in session with clients and I'll remind them, right? Remember, like 2 or 3 sessions ago, you mentioned blah, 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 blah. And I'm able to memorize that because I've had it written down. You know, I have it written down there. Because if I look back on my notes that are typed out, a lot of that does not make it onto there. You know, a lot of that information, the really good detailed information of quotes they said, does not make it onto my progress note. So first tip to write shorter, quicker notes, exactly what you need to do is just know exactly what is required in your notes, so that way, without a shadow of a doubt, you have that memorized. So when you're typing out your note or you're clicking off your note, you know exactly what needs to go on there. You know, you're not really worrying about, should I add this detail into the note? And the only exception for adding a bit more detail in my note is if there's any form of SI or suicide like taking place specifically. I go into more detail about safety plan has been discussed, this is the plan, this is who I contacted. So that is when you really do want to add a bit more detail, so it is documented that you did your due diligence in supporting your client through those crisis moments. So other than that, things stay bland as hell now. But right here on screen, I'm going to put an example of a SOAP note for me. Another tip that I have for you all, if you have certain software, like for example, I use Simple Practice, that you can create your own SOAP note and really go in and edit it. You can add options to click off things on there, so that way you're just clicking things off as much as possible, and the writing portions are few. So really the only portions that I ever have to rewrite are the SOAP note portions themselves. But a lot of the detail that I've clicked off already pretty much sums up what should be in the SOAP note. So by the time I get there, I can keep it really short and simple. Really great feature that Simple Practice has too is that it can generate your previous notes. So if you click on there that you want to use a previous SOAP note or progress note, it'll generate it and populate it on there for you. And that is what I do every single time, so that way I can save time. I click that so it can populate it, and then I go in and erase information that's old that needs to be updated. A lot of it doesn't change. Some things that need to be clicked off change, so you can read through and see what doesn't, but that saves you a lot of time in and of itself if things can just auto populate for you, and then you can just edit. Like the objectives portion tends to stay pretty similar. Sometimes it depends if we have a crisis situation, or if I notice there's different types of behavior, I can just copy paste things or delete things and just edit really quickly. Another tip that I have for you all is having templates, especially when you first start off. Now, if you don't have software like this, especially that auto populates, have a template for you of a sample, or at least a couple sample progress notes and treatment plans that you can copy paste from, especially if you know that you're mostly working with clients who have, for example, like depressive disorders or anxiety related disorders or certain DSM disorders. Create like a little sample treatment plan and progress note that you can copy paste from. That way you can just go ahead and tweak certain things for each client, but it makes it a lot faster for you to be able to do that versus sitting there with each single note and trying to come up with an original thing to say each time. That is going to take forever. ever. And that was the best advice that I was given when I interned with other counselors and other therapists. So I want to pass that advice on to you. Google Docs is free if you don't have Microsoft Word, and create a nice little template on there for you to copy paste from. So if you're wondering, what do I do with that weird limbo time during my graduation or post-grad, that is what you can do. Create those templates for yourself, so when you start working, you have the sample treatment plan, the sample progress note that you can go ahead and copy paste from. I really hope that you all found that helpful, and that it was helpful to just see an example of a progress note and just hear some tips on how I do things quicker. The last tip that I have for you all is to have a dedicated time or a dedicated day where without fail you show up and you write your notes. Even if you don't complete all the notes that you wanted to, sticking to the habit of that day or that time. For me, that is Mondays. Every Monday, unless I got sick or I was out of town or something happened, I write my notes on Mondays. And every now and then I might get like 2 or 3 notes done in between the week or after certain sessions, but I know that Monday, without fail, unless unforeseen circumstances come up, I'm getting the bulk of my notes done that day. That particularly helps me because I'm not the type of person that can have a session and then write the note right after and go to the next session. My brain and my mind do not thrive under those conditions. I cannot do that. My brain really likes being able to know, today I am only seeing clients and I am only creating content, or today I am only doing progress notes and I'm creating content. Unless I only have like 2-3 clients that day, I do not want to be writing notes after I see a client. Unless I get all my clients done and I have some free time, then I'll usually write a couple notes. But it really helps if you create your work schedule and you stick to it, because if you don't have a routine like that, boundaries start to really blur, and suddenly you're taking on clients during times that you said you didn't want to, or that isn't the best time for you. And ultimately it doesn't turn out for your clients either, because then you're showing up to sessions really frustrated because you don't actually want to be doing that. You know, you don't want to do that during that time. And so it is going to be really important to create a schedule that you actually can look forward to as much as possible. Like Mondays, even though it's my note day and I loathe notes, I don't enjoy it, I enjoy my Mondays regardless, because I know I'm gonna have a nice movie playing in the background really softly. I have my notepad with me to look at and I bust out my notes. And usually I take a little break where I wake up first thing in the morning, have breakfast, work out, and then I start getting my notes done. And then I take a little break, usually around like 10 or 11. That can be running a little errand or just walking or doing something. I come back to doing those notes, and usually by 12 or 1 I cut that off and I'm done with my notes for the day usually, unless I have a really large backlog of notes because it was the holidays, something came up like that. But yeah, those are all of my tips and all the things that I have for you all today. I really hope that it was helpful. Thank you so much for asking the question. These are things that I used to think about and wonder and question if I was doing right and appropriately. Again, Happy New Year, everyone. Thank you so much for watching this video. Take care of yourselves, try to rest, and I will go ahead and see you in my next video. Bye, everyone.